AEW announces MyAEW, which is basically a new streaming service for international fans. Now, why do I bring this up? This came out of nowhere. And it even sparked more of a conversation about their media rights. Because as you guys all know, AEW now airs their pay-per-views on HBO Max. They simulcast their shows on HBO Max, but they also basically air their pay-per-views on HBO Max. They air their pay-per-views here in the States on HBO Max, Amazon Prime. They used to, put their pay-per-views on Triller, but Triller is a disaster at this point. And they put their pay-per-views on YouTube. So there's multiple different ways in which you can watch AEW pay-per-views. But AEW announced a new streaming service called MyAEW. The Kiswe, I believe that's what the company's name is. I have no idea what this is called. The global leader in streaming technology and services and All Elite Wrestling, one of the most dynamic brands in professional wrestling, today announced a global launch of MyAEW, a new digital platform for All Elite Wrestling powered by Kiswe. I believe that's what it's called. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. The platform gives fans immersive access to live and on-demand events outside of the United States and Canada. A dedicated fast channel with ad-supported viewing available to fans globally and more exciting features to come in the near future. The MyAEW.com platform is designed to bring a global AEW fan base an immersive digital experience, connecting fans with the best in-ring action, behind-the-scenes moments, and exclusive digital content, laying the foundation to become a central hub for all fans of professional wrestling. Launching ahead of AEW Revolution, which features stars like Hangman, Adam Page, MJF, Jon Moxley, Willow Nightingale, FTR, the Young Bucks, the partnership marks the beginning of a long-term evolution for MyAEW, with continued advancements and developments over the next year. In a quote by Tony Khan, he stated this, and I quote, "We are excited to partner with Kiswe for the launch of the new MyAEW platform. They have set the standard for digital content across all forms of sports and entertainment, and we are proud to have AEW alongside other leaders in the space as we continue to evolve the platform and best serve fans all around the world." The partnership with AEW's underscores Kiswe's ability to build and support streaming platforms featuring a variety of live and on-demand content with flexible region-specific pricing. AEW has an incredible vision for the future for their fan experience, and Kiswe is proud to be a part of that technology partner powering it, said Glenn Booth, CEO of Kiswe. MyAEW was built to become the central hub for the AEW community, directly connecting one of the most passionate fan base in sports and entertainment to the content they love by giving them unprecedented access to the ring and beyond. AEW fans can head to myaew.com and create a login for the platform. Additional information regarding myaew.com will be announced in the near future. Okay, in terms of this, this came out of nowhere. A lot of people are calling this their version of the WWE network. What is my take on it? Now, there is pricing tiers for MyAEW, and the pricing is not bad at all. Like, the pricing is actually pretty good. So let me actually zoom in on this real quick. So basically, in terms of this streaming service, there's 3 different tiers for MyAEW. So the monthly deal, there's 2 monthly tiers for MyAEW.com. The first is the $7.99 deal, and that is monthly. So included in the $7.99 deal, you get to watch AEW, which is basically a free channel for everybody. You don't have to be subscribed to it. You can just watch the channel and boom, they give you 24/7 all AEW / Ring of Honor. You also get the AEW podcasts, Dynamite and Collision, which is live, Ring of Honor, Honor Club TV, Ring of Honor pay-per-views, and the AEW television archive. Now, granted, I forgot to mention that this is only for international fans. This is not for us fans here in the US. You can sign in here in the US, but you can only watch the Fast channel. You can't subscribe to this because, again, it's only included for fans internationally. There's another monthly tier, which is the $19.99 tier, which is basically including the pay-per-views. So you get the Fast channel, the podcast channel, one pay-per-view airing during the current month, AEW Dynamite and Collision, Honor Club TV, Ring of Honor pay-per-view, the television archive, and select pay-per-view archives. And you got the annual deal, which is the $199.99 tier, and that includes the Fast channel, the podcast channel, every 2026 AEW pay-per-view, Dynamite, Collision, Honor Club TV, Ring of Honor pay-per-views, the television archive, and select pay-per-view archives. Now, think about this. The annual tier, which is $199 or $120, is basically the WWE Network. Because if you divide if you divide $119.99 divided by 12, that's $9.99. So if you pay the annual tier, you're basically paying $9.99 a month. That's not a bad deal because you get the whole AEW archive, you get everything. This is awesome. I dig this. I like this. This is basically their own version, granted a smaller version of the WWE Network, but having Ring of Honor there helps because, Ring of Honor has a huge archive as well. But I don't know if the Ring of Honor archive is going to be a part of this. But, yeah, this came out of nowhere, man. The MyAEW streaming service, it looks really good, and they have a 24/7 free channel that everybody across the world can access to, including us here in the States. It's basically AEW's version of the WWE Network. Now, this sparked a lot of conversation as to why this was made. Now, people view this as, in a way, a backup plan for AEW if they cannot find a deal outside of Warner Brothers Discovery once their deal is up. I'm not going to be one of those people that speculate that. Why? Because, again, this is more of something that they're working on for the international fan base, but they're eventually going to expand here in the States. I view MyAEW.com similar to what UFC Fight Pass is. UFC Fight Pass, in a way, is kind of a side project for the UFC. And they still operate Fight Pass, even though they have all their, fight nights and their pay-per-views on Paramount Plus. Fight Pass is basically the entire UFC archive. They give you Strikeforce, Pride, WEC, all of the other MMA promotions. They also air local independent MMA promotions. If AEW was smart, and I was actually, shout out to Solid Monsters, I was actually listening to an old episode of his podcast from 10 plus years ago. And this was roughly around the time when the WWE Network launched. And he was talking about how, the WWE Network at the time should do what UFC Fight Pass was doing. And that's basically air content of other independent promotions or other wrestling promotions like New Japan. Now, keep in mind, this was like 2014. So like New Japan, Ring of Honor, all those guys, and maybe other independent wrestling promotions, kind of like what UFC does now with local regional MMA promotions. They air Cage Fury Fighting Championship. They air multiple different smaller regional MMA promotions. AEW, if they, continue to expand the streaming service, I think a best strategic move that AEW should do if they really want to take control of that independent wrestling space, because we see WWE doing it with the ID program. If AEW wants to take a similar approach, they can come to these local independent promotions across the United States, hell, even internationally, and be like, hey, we can offer you this amount of money to put your show on our streaming platform. Because again, they're independent promotions. They're not like national promotions like a TNA or WWE. It's something to think about, but they should really take what UFC has done with UFC Fight Pass and really implement that on their streaming service. Now, in terms of once this expands to the US, like, is this a sign that, their deal with the Warner Brothers Discovery, is going to go south once their deal is up? I have no idea. But one thing I will say, this is a smart move on AEW's end because they're looking towards the future. And this could be a potential backup plan if, God forbid, something happens, which I doubt it will. I think I don't think AEW has the leverage that a UFC or a WWE has, because they got all the leverage in the world in terms of television. But I think AEW has some sort of leverage in terms of television. You know what I'm saying? I do think they will eventually go towards an Amazon, for their next major television media rights deal. That's what I see happening. That's my prediction. I think they will eventually move all their content to Amazon. But in terms of this streaming service, it's a smart play on AEW's end. And I'm very curious to see what AEW does. But as of right now, in terms of these subscriptions, it's only going to be geared towards international fans. But no worries. Use the good old VPN.